Champions League was crazy. Now, you know, I actually didn't really get to watch Champions League. I never actually said this. Obviously, I think I did because I was flying back
Yeah.
holidays that day.
Yeah.
But what did you think of it?
You know, the thing is, I was watching it at work, and I saw the first 3 goals. No, I first saw the first 2 goals, and I was like, "Oh, maybe Inter can make a comeback," but obviously not. And then I went on my break, and I stopped watching it, and then I came back, and I saw 5-0. I was just looking. I was like, "What happened?" You know, because Italian teams are known as before they attack, they defend. They're very good defenders. I would think so anyway. After that final, I actually don't know anymore. But like even the Inter have a good defense. Like that Bastoni, Dumfries, DeMarco,
DeMarco was playing so bad.
Oh man, he got absolutely violated. But Inter should have just let Barcelona just slide past them and have a better final.
Yeah,
have more hype. Like
when I was watching it first initially, I was just because obviously I only saw the first 2 goals and I was just kind of like, oh okay, it's one of these ones that PSG just had a better start. Inter are going to come back. They've shown against Barcelona they can do it. But then there was just something about the way PSG were playing compared to Inter Milan that you could just see PSG wanted it more. Like they just wanted it more. And I don't want to obviously we're going to get onto that in a bit, but what I'll just say is, remember I said to you a while ago that Tottenham would be better off without Kane than with Kane because they're going to be playing as a team.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you're seeing for PSG. PSG just look like they're better off without Mbappe because not everybody's relying on Mbappe to do everything. When here you have Ousmane Dembele, Desiree Doué, Kvaratskhelia, you have
Vitinha,
you just have Hakimi, all these people. It's like there's no superstar on their team. Like, yes, fair enough, Dembele now probably will be considered a superstar, but there's nobody with that name that everybody's relying on now. But going back to the game, obviously when I was initially watching, I couldn't believe how easy it was for PSG. Because my question was to me is that it's too easy for PSG or Inter Milan just aren't at the level of PSG?
I think I just don't know, because this is like Inter's second final in the last 4 years. You know what I mean? Like this is the second time, and they do good in the Champions League. Like they go far enough. Like so they have the experience. Like it's not like a naive thing or anything. There's no one really like under 23 there. Like they have a very very like experienced team. Like after the first goal, they needed to stop and think for a second, because Summer is experienced. Acerbi's experienced. Like all the what's his name, Chananoglu experience as well. What they were doing after it was 2-0, they had to stop and think, oh, what are we doing wrong? No, that's what you need to do when you concede that early in a final anyway. And I was just like, they didn't change anything. They didn't try anything. Like the people that I thought would do like well, Martinez, Thuram, Dumfries, the way they were doing against fucking Barca. But they got cooked there. But also again, there was no hype behind the final. Like realistically, I actually didn't know that the final was on Saturday until like Wednesday or something. You know what I mean? But like I think PSG were just young, better coach for the final as well.
Is this still on? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Look, you see, with that whole thing, like, and I said this to you, and I remember, I think I said it to Sam as well, and he was like, I don't know what I'm saying. I said it to you boys a while ago, that the Europa League final this year, just because of the story behind it, is going to have more hype than the PSG,
and it did.
And it did. For this, I just don't think that, I don't know how to explain it, but like every Champions League final, there's so much hype. Everybody's like, oh, I can't wait to the Champions League final. But this time it was just, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a match on Saturday. PSG are playing Inter Milan.
Yeah, but I also think that was the same last year as well. Because last year's one was Real Madrid and Dortmund.
Yeah.
And there was not really hype around that.
I just feel like when there's no superstar teams getting to the finals, no one really cares.
Yeah.
The reason why, obviously, now when you look at the Europa League final, why it was so big is because you have 2 of the worst teams in the Premier League that didn't get relegated, playing each other in the semi-final. In a final to get Champions League and to win a cup and to basically somewhat say that they had to somewhat cover how horrendous their season has been. But going back to the Champions League, I don't know. There was just something about that Champions League which was just like, for me, after the first 2 or 3 goals, I was just kind of like, I'm not bothered watching this anymore.
Yeah,
it didn't have that, like, you know, it's Saturday, where am I going to watch Champions League? Where, oh boys, who's going to the pub? But with the Europa League, everybody was kind of like, oh, where are you watching Europa League? I heard people switching in work. I heard people switching in work times to watch the Europa League. All the madness that like you would expect from a Champions League wasn't there. And I was just kind of like, oh.
I don't think we've had that madness since like the City and Inter one, really.
Yeah.
Like that was the pinnacle. That was when it was at
that's why I was like, okay, I want to go to the pub and watch it. I want to go to a friend's house.
But now it's just not. But like I do understand it as well. But like I think as well, all our expectations were to see in a Clasico final.
Yeah.
Because Barca was on one side, Madrid was on one side.
Or was to see an Arsenal and Barcelona
final, yeah.
Or to see the PSG and Real Madrid because obviously of Mbappe.
Like but, we were making stories in our head that did not come true, and I think that's what made it underwhelming as well. Because no one wants to see Inter in a final. I'll be so real. I don't like their football.
But I don't like to. After the comeback did against Barcelona, I low-key did. Was like, okay, can they play like this exciting again?
Nah. Like, I think even the Barca game, I just think it was just
luck.
Yeah. Like the goal, like seeing Acerbi sliding with his right foot and scoring, it was jam. It's low-key jammy, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but like if we saw a Barca and PSG final, we were having a completely different conversation.
100%. 100%.
You're seeing Yamal versus Nuno Mendes, Hakimi versus.
Or if we seen a Real Madrid and PSG final, Mbappe versus.
If that, bruv.
But like, do you know what it is? I think we can't take away, even as like the final didn't live up to the hype we expected, because PSG absolutely ran rings around. We literally have to give PSG their credit, because that final, from what I was watching, the way PSG were actually just playing like as a unit. People making runs back, everybody defending like their lives depend on it, and then their way they were attacking. Was it the goal that I don't know who scored? That Vitinha started the move from like.
You know, it pains me to see Vitinha at PSG.
But let's forget Vitinha, Desiree Doué, Kvaratskhelia.
You have to deepen it as well. Like, you know, Desiree Doué is 20.
Did you see when everybody was now going to see Rio Ferdinand when he was interviewing Dej Spence, and Dej Spence turned around and said, he asked him, who do you think is going to be the next big time? And he just goes, Desiree Doué, this kid. And then when Ferdinand even went to go watch the clips of him, he was like, nah, this guy is what, he literally said, this guy is what Neymar wanted to be.
Sorry, his idol is Neymar as well. But the thing, like, the thing is, that guy came out of the blue, like, as well.
Desiree Doué.
He came out of the blue.
Now, there's been a lot of rumors. This is one thing I hear about. Sorry, guys, I have hay fever. This is one thing I hate. You see, we're going off topic for a minute. You see, I understand. We all do this sports thing. You know, everybody has their opinion. Everybody can say what they want to say. But I don't want to say I hate false information. I hate, for example, let's say, for example, a player was said to be linked with Chelsea, and then certain TikTok football people go say, oh, he was also linked with X person as well. It's like, this is not fun recording a podcast while having hay fever. So, for example, apparently Desiree Doué went to Tottenham's training camp last year before he signed for PSG. And he went to sign for Tottenham. Then a certain fan base decided to say, oh yeah, he was linked with them as well. Yeah. I'm just like, what's the point of this? It's like, yes, Tottenham identified it, but what are you trying to say? Arteta identified him but never signed him, like, so Arsenal are good at identifying. It's like, It was literally there that he went to Tottenham's camp and PSG came and said, "You're not going there. You're coming here." And I'm telling you right now, any player and PSG turns around and says, "You're coming," you're going to go. The only player I'm so surprised that came to Tottenham, I didn't go to another player, was Lucas Bergkamp. Remember, he was meant to go. Remember, it was Barcelona. I wanted him as well. And he decided to go to Tottenham, which was, we thank God, because he's gonna be. I've said to people, he's gonna be the next Luka Modric.
But you know, see the thing is with all that fake news and stuff. You know, it's kind of taking a crack out of football. As well.
Oh, stop! Fake news is really annoying me.
It's like, man, he's like even like people are using Fabrizio's name to like say he said this, and then he does. I saw him reply to someone yesterday. I was like, stop writing bullshit, because he didn't say that. It was an Arsenal fan saying that Doué was supposed to go to Arsenal.
When it was clearly there, when it was there that he was in Spurs' training camp. It's like, why is everything that is out there that is good or somewhat
must go back to
must go. I was like, at the end of the day, like, if you didn't get him, you didn't get him. And I don't even know why Spurs fans are putting out there that he went to our training camp. I don't care.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't. I don't think it matters, because it doesn't matter, because it matters about the team and the coach as well. Like, it doesn't. He could have went to Spurs and be shit. No, he could have went to Arsenal. He could have been shit.
Vitinha, he was at Wolves.
Vitinha, no one knew who that nigga was until this year.
Another person that's a great example of that is Victor Gyökeres.
He was in the Premier League.
He was in Brighton. Shit, out of nowhere, goes to Sporting Lisbon.
He went to Coventry. Then he went to Sporting.
Look at him now; he's ripping up this.
Yeah, now everyone wants him again. 65 million or something on his release clause. Come on, like, you know, it doesn't make sense.
Madueke, another good example. I know Madueke might not be playing the best, but was at Tottenham. Left Tottenham, went to PSV, went to somewhere, started ripping up, and came back to Chelsea.
Yeah, like,
unless that player was at your club, or I seen someone saying that on Sky Sports saying close to signing or something. Please, this whole narrative. And speaking on the Champions League, you see Eddie, yeah. I actually want about I say things right. And I don't care if people don't agree, but I'm getting sick and tired of. I can't even keep blaming all Arsenal fans, because, you know, we have to stop blaming all Arsenal fans for certain things, that the way people perceive them or the way people say stuff about them. There's certain football TikTok people or certain people out there that are giving me headaches. Why are people bringing up stats about XG about Arsenal? Like, this is what people are saying. And to be honest, yeah, you know, a lot of us want to blame a whole fan base. And I've gone to the point now, I actually can't blame all their fans. I blame specific people who have big platforms that are portraying this image, that are causing people to think of that fan base, to hold Arsenal to the standard these fans are holding them. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's just getting annoying more and more that they keep complaining, why does everybody talk about Arsenal? It's because you say some of the most stupidest, unnecessary things ever. Why are we talking about XG over a team, Eddie, that did not make a final?
See,
Eddie, I'm tired. Eddie, I'm genuinely speaking. It's not all their fans. There's specific people out there who are saying some of the most ridiculous stuff. Slag Tottenham or what you want. At least the Tottenham fan can say in the last decade they've seen their team make the Champions League final. And I think people need to remember this. It's like, I'm never going to keep screaming about Tottenham making the Champions League final, this and that. But if you're screaming to me about XG, Eddie, XG.
You know, and for people that don't know what XG is expected goals. Abi? So if I'm talking about expected goals, what about the goals? The actual goals?
The same person that came out to say that we were better over PSG over the two legs.
Who went through?
How could I don't get this sometimes, yeah. To me, I've come to the conclusion in life is that if you don't win, you're not better. Because if you were better, you would have won. It's like Ant, and people can talk shit about Ant from Kingdom Come. Ant said it himself. If people at the top are if it's so easy to make a final, the people at the top will be doing it. Liverpool made the final, didn't beat Newcastle. Fair enough, they won the Premier League, hands up, and that is a great achievement.
And who they're trying to sign now?
It's crazy.
Crazy, yep. Yeah, man.
But there's a certain team that has been. Do you know? Was it? I don't know if you've seen a pod. Was it a pod? Was it the overlap, or was it a pod? I don't know. It was another big sports podcast. I never realized Man United have made 5 finals in the last 5 years. Isn't that crazy for the team that we keep calling shit to me? And that's why I'm telling you, I'm getting irritated with a lot of things. You know, I sit here and I say things that people may not agree or disagree with. I understand. I might say some ridiculous things. I understand. But for you to now come on, for your fan base to always complain about why are people always talking about Arsenal, why are people doing this and that, is because you guys are holding your team to such a standard that when you don't meet that standard, we are going to come at you. Man United fans know their team is shit. Tottenham fans know the club is in disarray. Chelsea fans know that they spent money on things they should not have spent money on. But apparently your club is doing everything so perfectly. Can't win the Europa League. Can't win the Champions League. Can't win the Premier League. And you know what's paining me the most? Why is it now all of a sudden the Europa League has lost all the credit? Because Tottenham won it. Have you not noticed that? The Europa League is magically not a big trophy anymore because Tottenham won it because they finished 17th.
But you know the thing is, right? If you're in the Europa League, you're hardly going to go out there and lose it. Like, you know, you're going to try and compete. And yet again, winning the Europa League means playing in the Champions League. Losing, like, the thing is, Europa League is still a good trophy. Like, let's be realistic.
Eddie, it's the second, it's like, it's, you know, you can disagree or agree with me on this. And I think Amran said this. The Europa League is higher than the Champions League. And now people can disagree or agree with what I'm about to say, but hear me out. Because everybody is fighting so hard to win because they know that there's a possibility of them making Champions League football. Versus the people who are in the Champions League already are more likely going to be there again next year.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that when you talk about the teams in the Europa League, they're harder. But when you talk about like everybody who really wants to win, like the intensity to win a cup is probably more intense when it comes to Europa League than Champions League, because at the end of the day, the Europa League is the 32 best teams in Europe at that time.
Yeah.
The Champions League. The Champions League is the 32 best teams in Europe at the time, and the Europa League is the people who were good but not good enough. Yeah. Basically what it is.
People forget as well, like, people that got knocked out of the Champions League went into the Europa League before this year. And they still don't win, even though they were in the Champions League. There were big teams that dropped out, remember? And they weren't good enough to... You know, there was a year that Barca lost to...
I remember.
Kai, who did they lose to?
I don't remember, but I know they got dropped.
They lost to somebody, though. They lost to somebody. Like, it's not like it's a walk in the park. It's not like a second-tier cup. Like, it's still Europe.
Eddie,
like,
again, this is where I'm sorry for interrupting. This is where I'm trying to come to. It's not all Arsenal fans. It's the ones with the big platforms that say these stupid things.
Okay, even you could just look at Europa League like this. Just one position below Champions League. If you were just a little bit less than Champions League, you're just below it. That's it. It's not like the quality is not that bad. Like, see, even just look at the tables as well. The Premier League table right now, as obviously top 5 went through, but 6th and 7th. Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, they're still like, they're not far off Chelsea and Newcastle. You know what I mean? They're not like, even like maybe they're far off Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, so on. But like, they're not far off us and Newcastle, of course. Like,
no, 100%.
Because Aston Villa were in top 4 until United scored. You know what I mean? They were 5th. Newcastle were losing. Newcastle got lucky that Aston Villa got red. You know what I mean? And somehow United were playing good that day. And somehow Chelsea bet Nottingham Forest. You know what I mean? It's not a quality thing. It's just who is good on these certain days. Like, it depends. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just say it's a bad trophy because Tottenham. I know Tottenham is shit. Of course, everyone knows that Tottenham is shit. But at the end of the day, they still won. You can't take that off them now.
And that's my irritation the most. It's like, now there's certain people trying to discredit the Europa League.
You can't even discredit the Europa League. Arsenal win a
how can you discredit something you can't even win?
Can you imagine? Arsenal win a Europa League final a few years ago. They lost 4-1. You think it's easy? Why didn't you win it? You think it's easy? Arteta has been manager for 8 years now.
6 or 7.
Whatever. It feels like 8. He's there for 6 years. He has said all sorts of rubbish. He has bought all sorts of players and still hasn't won anything. And now you want to discredit a cup that you haven't won? You can't discredit something you have never won. That doesn't make sense. The Spurs fans did not tell people how to win a Champions League.
I loved the way you said that. Oh my God.
Arsenal fans can't tell Chelsea fans how to win a Champions League. We will tell you how to win it. We told you. We won it. You see, let me tell you, Arteta can't say, you can't judge a team that he's never won the Premier League. You can't tell me that we've had injuries. I know he was assistant manager, right?
Yeah.
But we've had injuries. We all have injuries. You know what I mean? If your fans and your teams are saying that you're the best at this, you're the best at that, be the best in the league and win it. And if you're saying you have a better team than Liverpool, you have a better team than Man City, then that means you should be well above them, even with injuries. Like, okay, if you're the best team in the world, why do you still need signings? You know what I mean? They got Zubimendi. They're looking at Sesko. They want a winger. Are we serious? You know, I don't even think City or Liverpool are going for that many. Liverpool are only doing it because they're losing players and the players are aging. They have a relatively young team. Martinelli. From Martinelli to Saliba to Raya is probably the oldest. He's 29, 30. And maybe Partey as well. Everyone else is 20-something-ish. Yeah. Mid-20s, below that. But now they still... Like, this chai. They didn't even win the Conference League. I know they haven't been that bad to be in it, but they haven't even won that. So they can't even tell me how to win it because they don't know how to win it.
The problem is, like I said, it's not all their fans. It's the ones with the big platform who are saying some of the crazy. There's one. I don't even want to talk about one. There's one person that I've noticed that's come on my For You that's pissing me off. Because I don't want to name names, but
name him.
There's one specific one. I forget his name. But like I don't remember the names. It's only when I see their faces. But there's one that's come up and you know, I'm gonna speak about this, and however this is taken, I don't mean it in a rude way. So obviously we know that Arsenal's women's have just won the Champions League, which is unbelievable.
Against Barca as well.
Against Barca, and apparently it's only been Barca and Leon that have been winning it for like the last couple.
And Barca killed Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
So let's put it like this, right? So this person came on and tried to say that they don't understand when basically because you know Tottenham won the Europa League. Basically, we're trying to compare the achievements of Arsenal winning the Women's Champions League compared to Tottenham in Europa League. You see, it's people like that just irritate me because it's not even about. I'm not talking about gender. It's like you're talking about two separate things here. We are talking about the men's game, and then there's the women's game. In what Arsenal done in the women's game is unbelievable. We're talking about the men's game. So when we say Tottenham had a better season than Arsenal, we're not talking about the women's game because Arsenal's women's team have Tottenham's women's team is nowhere near them. So we need to actually be very careful when we talk about certain things because that's when you're going to cause this whole unnecessary. I don't even want to get into it too much, but it's just like stuff. That's what I'm saying. Stuff like that is what is making their fan base look crazy.
You see that's like me saying that the Chelsea women
went invincible. Their invisible record is better than the Arsenal men's invisible record.
Going to compare it?
That's because they're two different things. And that's what I'm trying to say. This is the problem. Every fan base has crazy people. We have expressions. You have
that guy with glasses. What's his name?
He's on Dior Sports. He's the guy. No, I think his name is Ma actually.
Arsenal have multiple.
But it's getting to the point now they're all even contradicting themselves. And that's the thing. You know, we are like, and that's where I know I'm talking about this a while because it's just like I see this and they always complain like, why do people talk about them? Because you're giving people something to talk about because none of you can agree on one thing.
You're putting fuel to a fire that doesn't need to be even be a fire.
With us, everybody, I understand in my fan base, there's genuinely speaking, there's a big division between the people that want Ange to stay and the people that want Ange to go.
Oh yeah.
In your case, we understand that most people nobody likes Clear Lake, whoever is in charge of you people. United, most of their fans don't want Amrin there anymore. But for you people, is this one day, is that one day, is this one day, is that one day. It's just something different every day.
You can't rest.
You just can't rest. And then it's the complaining that when people always talk about Arsenal. It's like, because you actually give us the content to talk about you.
Yeah,
Eddie, when I saw the XG thing, my head wanted to spin. I'm like, you didn't get to the final. You haven't gotten to the Champions League final since 2004. 2006, 2004.
God damn. That's when I was born. That's crazy.
You complain about Tottenham never winning trophies. But the one time now Tottenham win the European Cup, it doesn't even have that much credit anymore. And like I said, let's kind of get into that conversation. Give me 1 second. So there's been a big question on socials lately about who's had the better season, Tottenham or Arsenal. And I told everybody, it all boils down to one thing. What was everybody's expectation of their club? Because if we're now going to be discrediting accolades because Tottenham finished 17, then there's something wrong with all of us.
Finished 17?
Yeah. Because Tottenham, and I'll get into that, because Tottenham finished 17th and the Europa League, that now this accolade doesn't count is crazy. When we all judge a season or anything, we base it off one major thing. It's like, what has your team won? That's what you people have been slagging Spurs fans for ages. What has your team won? When was that time you won a trophy?
Yeah, I was one of them, yeah.
In history, Tottenham have won trophies, but the problem is that history has been so long ago that nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So
I
now
saw it was like 32 years since he won some.
Yeah, no, 17 when we won
the
when we won the Carabao Cup against Chelsea.
Yeah.
What was I saying? So yes. So why is it now all of a sudden that Tottenham have in theory met their expectations? Let's say Tottenham's expectation was to finish in top 6, win a trophy.
I don't even think it was met. I think you surpassed it. No one expected you to win that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's just say hypothetically speaking, right? From this, let's look at the two fan bases, right? So Spurs fan base, all they kept saying is, we want a trophy. We don't care what the trophy is, Eddie. They never even said anything about Champions League football. They said, we don't care what the trophy is. We want a trophy. Arsenal fans, we'll win the Premier League. We're going to win Champions League. We can even win the quadruple. No, fair enough, there was one specific irritating Arsenal fan that was saying it. I don't want to get I don't want to get into who he is, but you already know who I'm talking about. But the main expectation from Arsenal that season was to win the Premier League and to win another cup. And so again, the Arsenal fans
so they got below the expectation.
They didn't even hit an expectation. Because remember, when the Premier League race was over, what were they saying? The Champions League. They said bring Real Madrid. 1-0 Real Madrid. I agree.
Yeah.
They said bring PSG. PSG no one.
They say we bet PSG already. We can do it again. No. Like don't forget that because Real Madrid are having a bad season, let them come back again and see what you do.
And people think,
you think you can't do that to Real Madrid twice.
No.
Never. I remember Chelsea 1 year. Remember when Chelsea won the Champions League? We bet them. The year after we lost. And it was bad loss. And the next 2 years, actually, we lost to them again. You think they won't come for revenge? Don't be silly.
But
you were violating them because Declan Rice scored 2 free kicks. Well done. Very bossy. Yeah. But like, still, you're gonna be okay, fair enough, you're gonna be Champions League next year, right? Cool. It's still gonna be the same thing. You're gonna get knocked out. You're not gonna win. Let's be realistic. You didn't win the Champions League with Thierry Henry. You're hardly gonna do it with Havertz. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, like this is the standards we're putting it. They didn't meet any expectations. City did not meet any expectations. Liverpool surpassed everyone's expectations because we all had them fourth, third or something. We didn't have
no one.
Because no one knew who Arne Slot was.
Yeah, everybody was saying. Remember, everybody was coming in when Arne Slot came in, like, who's this guy? He's not going to do good.
This is Eric Tahan's brother. Like, you know,
like he won.
We made fun of his butt head. Like
he won a league in his first season. Sorry, exactly. Let me just. So I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say to you is, Tottenham expectations were to just win a cup. Arsenal's expectations were to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
Let's just put it out. Let's forget about Champions League. Let's forget about everything. Was to win the Premier League. If Tottenham, let's say you're on the board of directors of 2 places, yes, you're gonna look. Let's say you're on Tottenham's side, you're gonna look at it one hand. That okay, maybe we didn't want to make Champions League this season, but we wanted to finish, try to compete to make Champions League, and maybe win a trophy. 17th wasn't what we wanted, but you have just actually got us a trophy, and got us into Champions League, which is going to attract more money to the club. What did Mourinho say? He never said anything about the club. He said two things. He goes, "I'm happy for Son, and I know Mr. Levy is going to be happy." That's what he said. He didn't care about the fans. I didn't really say much about the fans. He said, "Now, board of directors on Arsenal side, oh, yeah, we're going to win the Premier League. We need to win the Premier League, and we probably need to compete in Europe."
Sure, look. Then when they don't do it again,
sorry,
we tried again.
Let me kind of get into this a bit. You didn't win the Premier League. You got semi-finals of the Champions League. Okay, I don't care because my team has made the final in the last 10 years. You got knocked out by 10-man United in the FA Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know who knocked them out. You got knocked out of the semi-finals by Newcastle in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
But this is the team you people keep telling me is the best team in England.
Yeah, man.
But Eddie, and then you have to question is, where's the progression? Because yes, Tottenham finished 17th, but Tottenham have proved that they are now getting to the mentality of understanding how it is to win a trophy. Because Ange said in an interview, Ange said he had to turn his focus to the Europa League. And I didn't believe, because I know people were saying that, and I was like, why would you say that? But there was actually a clip where he said that with the injuries I was getting, with everything, I had to start focusing on one thing. Which, fair enough, you have to look at him in his position.
Well,
I have to make a decision, and I had to make that decision. But and this is the thing I hate. It's like you keep having the chances to surpass Liverpool at the time. You were on top of City, but you just prove you are just good, but never good enough. You said you're going to, they were telling me they were going to win the Champions League. I said, guys, this is not just any club. This is the Champions League.
Like, Champions League is not for small boy mentality.
That's what I'm saying. So my question is always like, if you look at expectations on both sides, Spurs have surpassed the expectations. Yes, there was one thing which they didn't do, which obviously does not have a good look on the club, which was finish 17th and lose 22 games. And we all know any other season they would have been relegated. We all know that. But if this guy now has ticked 2 out of the 3 boxes, and Arteta's ticked, okay, let's give them the benefit of doubt, 1 out of the 3 boxes. Who has had the better season? On paper, it's Tottenham, because we can't now discredit the Europa League because Tottenham finished 17th. Because then Tottenham done the same thing that Arsenal done. They finished in Champions League. And on top of that, they won a trophy. Because every top 6 club's objective in the season is to finish in Champions League. Now, there's ethical ways to do it, and Tottenham did do it in somewhat, you could say, an unethical way.
But they did it.
But they done it.
The thing is there, like, it has to be done.
So, in your view, who has had the better season?
In my view?
Yeah.
I'd say Spurs. Because we all said that Spurs don't know how to win trophies.
I forgot what I said. I never saw what Jamie Carragher said.
Yeah, man. Like, we all said, I think Jamie Carragher should shut the fuck up sometimes, to be honest. But that's another story. But, like, we all didn't expect it. It was unexpected, Expectations were low. I thought Andrew looked tired, like your whole club, like the whole way you were, like no one expected you to be even in the Europa League final the way you were playing this year. But shit, somehow you won it. You played against a team that are just worse than you. Like, I suppose, like Arsenal, we expected. I to be honest, I expected them. I didn't expect them to do anything. I always do that. Arsenal, they didn't move me for 1 second. You know what I mean? Obviously. Their expectations were to win the Premier League.
What's my saying that I always say to you when it comes to Arsenal? Do you remember?
No.
Do you not remember my saying?
No.
It's just the same Arsenal, different season.
Yeah, like I don't think like it's not like you're not like they're not improving.
And the thing is now is they've gone and just to make something clear, Arsenal have not progressed. You cannot they finish 8th, 5th. Wait, is it 8?
8, 6, second.
if you have gone 3 years finishing the same place, you've not progressed.
No.
Newcastle progressed. Brentford progressed. Crystal Palace progressed.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest progressed.
Yeah, fair, but it's trash.
These are teams that progress. You can't progress by finishing the same place every year.
You know,
and then saying that if another season we would have won it, this and that. That just shows me loser mentality.
If we didn't get injuries, like I don't think anyone gives a flying fuck about injuries right now, because
it's not even about injuries. You can't use injuries as an excuse.
No.
Because I said it from people to day one. If we want to really talk about injuries and give excuses, then Ant should not be in the question of ever being sacked. I said to somebody, I think I said it to Sam on the last pod. I goes, if Ant hadn't had Ant, can you actually name me a time Ant just had
a fully fit
team?
No. Maybe against Chelsea.
What happened?
Yeah,
was it not the injuries started happening? Then people were seeing that certain people weren't there. Even this season. How long was Vicario, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie, Madison? Like
Spence had to go left back. Like,
you remember Archie Gray?
Archie Gray was centre back.
Isn't it only because of the injuries that people started seeing how good Dech Spence was, how good Archie Gray was, how versatile he was, who else there? Lucas Bergkamp was starting to play a lot more. Isn't it only because of these reasons? Yeah. Which you can look and say it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
But you can't complain about injuries when there's a team that haven't actually had a fully fit team for God knows how long. And people can say, oh, maybe it's the way Ant trains them. Okay, cool. But at the same time, they still haven't had a fully fit team. Who knows what would have happened if Spurs had their fully fit team? Van de Ven. The many times that guy saves our ass. You seen what he done in the Europa League final.
When he cleared that ball off the line.
That's what I mean. What would have happened if we'd had Van de Ven and Romero fit for the whole season? And you remember we didn't have a back line at once. Archie Gray and what's the other person's name?
Danso?
No, Archie Gray and Spence. Archie Gray was playing right back at times. Like, so when people keep
even Jagerson got injured.
Remember he got ACL. So like when people keep talking about injuries. No one could talk about injuries like us Spurs fans. So you remember that time you nearly had a starting 11 injured last season?
It was a starting 11 and a bench.
and people really still want to complain, and they want to complain about injuries because they're feeling it now. When there's us, we've been feeling for 2 years, and maybe fair enough. I can put my hands up and say that Spurs maybe should have Van de Ven. I love him as a defender, but now I'm coming to the point now. I know I'm going to do this defender for 3 months in the season every season.
Yeah, of course. But I don't know.
But you can't. The excuse of injuries, the excuses is what is giving me a headache. They're like talking down on other teams, like calling them shit when you haven't even done anything.
Yeah,
you need accolades is what determines a season. That's what has been the argument since Kingdom Come. Since we all got more into our football knowledge. It's like if you don't win a trophy, you have a shit season. If me and you don't win a trophy, it's about who finishes. Where anybody finishes in the league. Exactly. But if me you are arguing right now, who's won the better trophy between both of us? Obviously Tottenham because they won the Europa League, but you still won a trophy. So who's going to come and argue now? People say, the Conference League is the third tier of shit European football. Okay, fair enough. You're in the second tier, you didn't win it. You're in the first tier, you didn't win it. The people you keep slagging have actually made. Imagine all our teams have made a final in the last 10 years, except them.
Yeah.
Can you imagine all our teams have made European finals in the last 10 years?
And
they made the Europa League final, but they didn't win it. So we've all made a final in the last 10 years and won a European final.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even crazy to say that Chelsea had a better season than Arsenal.
It's not, because you're in Champions League.
At the end of the day,
you're Champions League and you win a trophy.
Exactly. And the thing is as well, you need to remember, Enzo Maresca, this is his second year coaching ever. You know what I mean? This is Arteta's...
Listen, his second year of coaching ever. The person that he was replaced with, if I'm correct, because Arteta was Pep's right-hand man, then Maresca became
Pep's right-hand man.
Yeah. So, the person who was Pep's, let's genuinely say, right-hand man, went to it, Arsenal team, with all the knowledge and everything he has, could not do anything. Maresca, like you said, in his second ever year of coaching, got Leicester promoted.
Yeah,
left Leicester, came to Chelsea, won a Conference League, and put them in Champions League.
You know the thing is about that Chelsea. Chelsea got top 4. Like they weren't to 15. It was Newcastle. It was Chelsea in the 4th. You know. I remember last year.
People were saying we're in title race.
What?
Was it when people were saying you're in title race?
No. When Maresca was linked to come to Chelsea, and I came on the podcast. I went mad. I was just looking. I was like, who the fuck is this clown? And to be honest, you can tell that it's his first year coaching, of course, because he makes a lot of mistakes. Not starting Reece James in that final was a big mistake,
But at the end of the day, he probably looked at it like
he's saving him.
Yeah, but you have to see the thing with Reece James as well. Like, if I was any other manager, I understand what you're going to say. But you don't want to be playing Reece James and he's getting injured in the first 10 minutes. I'd rather bring him on the last 10 minutes and he gets injured.
Yeah, of course. But now, he brought him on and we won. Fair enough. But I also think that even just the way he carries himself as well, he's not very like Arteta, not very like, I wasn't outspoken, is it?
Yeah.
It's not kind of like that. He's more cool, calm, and collected, kind of.
Yeah.
And he loves his style and he doesn't want to change it, which is calm. And he will make mistakes. But yet again, like I said, it's his second season. He has 2 trophies on his head. Remember, he won the EFL. He won with Leicester.
Oh, okay, sorry. When I said 2 trophies, I was like, when did we... Okay,
yeah, he won with Leicester. He won the league with Leicester.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
Yeah.
And he won the Conference League with Chelsea. Comfortably. Let's say. He got top 4. And bear in mind, I still keep saying it. This squad is not his squad. He bought, 2 players maybe? Maybe 2 players that he wanted, Neto and... Dewsbury Hall, thank you.
Even though he's not playing him either.
Even though he's not playing, but still, that's who he bought in. And that's who he was playing. His preseason was bad. And bruv, it was bad. But this is not his team at the end of the day.
Yeah, no.
And he did it. But now you can see that is Arteta's team. He wants to play 4 physical guys at the back.
Someone said that they believe the players are going to start turning on him very soon.
Arteta?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that we're going to see soon something like what Ashley Cole did that happened at Arsenal.
What did he do?
When he left Arsenal for a rival.
No.
I think something like that will happen, and it's either gonna be Saliba, Saka, or Maisuke. One of them.
Did you hear the thing about Lewis Skelly apparently not signing a new contract?
Man, if he goes to City, would you blame him?
He won't go to City. He can't go to City. Maybe Madrid, but not City. I don't see City.
See, no, the thing is, right, if they keep consistently not winning, you can't be happy with that, respectfully. You know what I mean? If you consider yourself a top player, the first thing you want to do is win.
Look at Kane.
The Kane was probably one of the best strikers in the league of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He had to leave to win. And that's okay. Leaving to win is not your fault. You just want to go to a team that wants to win with you. Obviously, Arsenal don't know how to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They obviously don't know how to win. Lewis Kelly's still young. He can still go and make his name in another team.
Real Madrid.
Saka is still young.
Can you imagine that?
Saka is still young. He can go to another team and be successful. It's not all about Arsenal. It's not all about your team. And you have to think about it. Sometimes you have to be selfish. I'll be sorry.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, if Arsenal, mark my words, remember this day. If Arsenal don't win anything next year, Saliba will go to Real Madrid.
I think Saliba is still going to go to Real Madrid.
And it could even be this year.
The reason why I'm still thinking is because I just know how evil Real Madrid are.
Man,
what they did with them. Remember what they did with, who was it, last minute? Mbappe, when they bid like some stupid amount of money and PSG said no. And they were like, okay, we're just going to get him for free.
Yeah, and the money that they offer PSG is what they give him. Like what? What kind of
I don't believe the Cronkies are going to see that number and say no.
Yeah,
I don't believe
But yeah, again, and that's why we think Real Madrid are crooks. Like most of the players they got them on the free, and Rodrigo and Vinny were not expensive players. Like you know what I mean?
60-70 million players.
Yeah, like the only players like they've recently started paying big money for were with recent times. The last 5 years, like was Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Mendy, Eden Militao.
Boom. Can you?
They didn't pay for Mbappe. They didn't pay for Trent.
Can you imagine? They did. They paid 10 million.
10 million for what he is like.
Can you imagine? Trent, Dean. Don't forget they got Dean Huijsen.
Shit, yeah.
They have that guy Asensio. I think.
Yeah.
And then imagine it was Skelly left back.
Yeah, you see.
That's scary.
You know the thing is, I think also Bellingham is a big guy in England, so he can convince anybody he wants really. If they're English, if they want to come, they'll find a way.
I don't think we've seen the last of Real Madrid's big signing. That's the main thing I'll say.
I think because now they have Xavi Alonso, and Modric is leaving. Remember this year, Modric is left. right? So they need a replacement. Realistically, they need a passer. Don't be surprised if they go for one of your man. No one should be surprised of any of their players leaving for Real Madrid. Because at the end of the day, that's Real Madrid. I'd fucking go to Real Madrid. You know what I mean? If I was a Chelsea player and Real Madrid start calling, realistically, I'd leave. You know what I mean? Because that's the best team in the world. Yeah. They're always gonna be competing, no matter what.
You're right. You
know what I mean?
You're right. But look, I just think that I just don't like the way that like the Europa League has now been discredited because Tottenham won it. It's just irritating.
It's sad.
It's sad because it's just like now because just people who think that, oh, Tottenham won it and they finished 17th. At the end of the day, people actually look back in history. There's a lot of teams who have been in very bad positions and have won the Europa League. So, like, I don't know now. It's just because Tottenham. Look, at the end of the day, me, I don't care. I'll still sing Champions of Europe. They can't sing that.
Yeah, and big up Crystal Palace. You bet, Man City. Fair ball, see. That was a good.
How many years have I been screaming, I want a Berchi Eze at Spurs?
I know the thing is, why Eze is still there is
probably what it is,
pure loyalty.
It's not. I think that. Okay, well, let's switch conversation for a minute. Like we'll talk about this. Let's talk about 3 transfers we want for our teams, for Chelsea and Tottenham. And the reason I want to speak about this is because I believe that there's been a lot of base putting for Eze, but Crystal Palace keeps saying no. Remember, apparently out of nowhere, we found out, like, was it like 72 hours before the transfer window closed, that Spurs put in a 70 million bid for Mark Gay.
And they said no.
And there was obviously big rumors already about it. Do I believe Eze is going to go to Spurs? I still think it's going to happen. I just think there's too much, even when he was playing against Tottenham. I don't know if you've seen, like, when he was signing the thing and everybody was telling him, and then someone said, will you join Tottenham? He looked at the kid and he smiled. Stuff like that, I know people might say I'm looking too much into it. But for you to be signing Tottenham match their cards, and a kid asks you, will you, and he smiles. And you've seen on many times of him and Sonny and all of them standing there and talking. There's something there somewhere. But I just believe now that Tottenham have a new CEO, I genuinely believe that he will be I'm not saying I believe. There's a strong chance base, but now I've heard Bayern Munich are involved. And if that's true,
we have to put our hands up.
I dream. Another player who I told you I wanted at Spurs, second one was Kevin Keller, but he's gone to Brentford. And that's just sad because I've always said Kevin Keller has the potential to be, genuinely speaking,
top 3 in the league.
A world-class keeper.
And he's Irish as well, which is a big plus as well.
Yeah, I know. Kevin Keller. And then another player who I wanted at my club, this might actually sound weird, is Anthony Alanga.
I don't blame you.
Because I feel like, remember when I kept saying I wanted Traore? It wasn't because of, it's because of like these man just have this like X factor or just
they just excite me.
Burst of acceleration that they can turn defense into attack very quickly. I saw
Alanga against Chelsea and the guy was trying, but nothing was really going on for them, which is calm. But like he's good. I don't know what United saw that they didn't see.
And there's this question: how did like even you people as well were holding the door? Selling people like for this cheap, man.
Yeah, no. To be honest, I hear that as well. But yeah, again, I'd still rather what we have now.
That's what I want to talk to you about. Do you see there was this picture of was it Mourinho, Pep, and Enrique all walking in their Barcelona kit. And people were like, what are Barcelona doing to make all these managers win? Sure, they've all been Barcelona products.
I know. You know how much of a problem that is as well. So now there's Pep that came from there. Luis Enrique came from there. Mourinho came from there. There was one, and they all. I swear,
Cruyff. Huh? Did Johan Cruyff come?
Cruyff was the one that basically created that kind of football, right? Basically, I think so. Anyway, I don't know that kind of history. Yeah. But basically, taught them all. They are all Champions League winners now.
There's a picture of all three. I don't know. I'll find it for you.
Enrique has 2. Pep, because Enrique won Champions League with Barca. I remember
Pep
that.
Has 2.
Pep won 2 with Barca, no?
2.
Against United twice, wasn't it?
And he won one with Bayern Munich.
No, he didn't win at Bayern Munich. He won he won at Barca and he won at Man City. So he could have 3 or something. Mourinho has 1?
Mourinho, doesn't he have 2?
2. Porto and Inter.
Yes.
He has 2. Now Enrique has 2. So who is the next person up? Well, I know there's somebody there that's not even born yet. That will that will soon come and still see. Even just Hans to Flick, he's not even. His football is not really like the Barca way.
Yeah.
He squished it completely into his way. He done what he did at Bayern, which pisses me off. It makes everyone look like 20 times bigger than what they are. Look like huge. Like Yamal looks massive. For what he was, he's skinny last year during the Euros. Remember that guy? He's skinny. Now he's like jostling off people, right? Like Barca always gonna be there. Like Real Madrid are always gonna be there, no matter what. That just charge. Like.
So what's 3 transfers you want? You would already buy everybody.
I think
definitely no. I won't do this for you. Keeper.
Nah, I'm okay with keeper right now.
Sanchez.
With Petrovic coming back.
Petrovic
was the third best in the top 3 keepers in the league in League 1 last year.
Okay.
So I'm okay with that. I'd say Jonathan Tah, experienced centre back.
He's gone to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I know that, but shit. Or Marquinhos maybe. You know, I just want an experienced centre back. You know what I mean? So like someone experienced, like even Rudiger, I would take him back. Like, you know what I mean? Then I like Rodrigo, to be honest, because that's a dream signing, but I don't think we'll ever get him. So I say Nico Williams, because that's achievable. He's 50 million release clause. It'd be stupid not to. And Osimhen, to be honest,
first,
he's Nigerian. He's a striker that can score goals.
First.
But now that we've got Liam Delap, I'm not mad, but I'm not happy either, because we're in the Champions League. Liam Delap has not played Champions League. We need somebody that he has time.
Fire, give him time.
I will give him time, no bothers. I think he's gonna be sick, of course. Him and Jackson competing, 2 completely different strikers, which I love. Like Liam Delap brings us back to like Diego Costa times. He's the guy's a prick, like love it. But again, he's still young. He still has 100%. A lot of development left to do.
100%.
But to be honest, everyone from City Academy that we've got has been successful. Like, to be honest, Palmer, there's Lavia as well. Remember?
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Anyways, guys, look, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in a week or 2. Anyways, guys, take care. God bless and have a good day.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.